The most common type of join is the inner join, which returns a set of data that represents the section of those two tables. There is the records from those tables that are actually related to each other. First, take a look at the Venn diagram represents this join. Then you can check the SQL syntax you need to use to do the join. Now let's try to run it. This is the basic structure. List the columns you like. And then in front clause, you list the tables you are going to relate. And here it is borrower as B. Inner join to table loan as L on B borrower ID equals L borrower ID. This is the basic syntax you need to use. And here, as I listed the columns I like, I use the alias to represent the table they belong to. This is much easier than rewriting the whole table name. So let's run it. And here it is. We just see here the records from both tables that have the same ID as you can see here, and so on. Now let's talk about the left join operator. To understand how it works, we need to look at the SQL statement you are running. The Venn diagram for the left join operator is like this. You bring everything from the left table and just the information from the second table that fits to the other. When we say left table, we mean the table to the left of the join operator, in this case the borrower table. As you will see, the syntax is quite similar to the previous one. We just changed the operator itself. Let's see how it runs. Here I will just correct the operator, changing from inner to a left join, and that's all. All the rest is the same, but as you will see, the result is quite different. Now we see all the records from the borrower table and only the information from the long table that accommodates to the previous one. Let's take a deeper look into those null values. Notice when we run the left join, we are picking columns from both tables, but for instance, column last name from the borrower table and column loan date from the check the results. As the SQL statement uses a left join operator for this example, you see all the values from the columns on the left table. As you can see here, but some records show new values on the null columns. From the right table here, this happens when the right table does not have the corresponding key. In this example, we are studying This is actually a library's tables. As I said before, in practice this means that borrowers Lee, Wong, and Peters, whose IDs are D6, D7, and D8, have never loaned any book before. When you work with a right join operator, you will see the very opposite effect. You might have no value also, but this time, the records from the left table will be affected.